It's winter. It's snowing. It's cold. It's blowing. What do we say? We talk a little bit of review of 2022, plans for the winter, and what's coming in 2023. Welcome to Back of the Gravel Pack. That is really hot. Whew. What is up, people of YouTube? Back of the Gravel Pack, on location, pack headquarters, Eastern Kansas. I'm here. I'd like to be out riding a bike. We have some sort of polar plunge. I've got my loyal golden retriever here to help out today. Say hi, Murphy. Murphy, the camera's that way. There you go. Well done. Made for television, that one. Thought I'd take a minute, chat about the last year of gravel as far as Back of the Gravel Pack is concerned. Plans for this coming winter, this current winter as I look outside and there's snow everywhere. What we have planned for the winter, and then looking a little bit forward for next year's schedule. Some events I might like to make it to, try and get some feedback from you where we should end up. So yeah, I appreciate you joining us today. Let's talk a little bit about gravel last year start out. So we made it to something like 13 or so events in the last year. Started out 2022 by building a new bike from frame up. Went with a midnight special, so pretty fun few episodes there if you haven't had a chance. Take a look and see what we decided there. Got some changes coming for that bike. I think the plan is to continue to ride it into 2023. I'd really like to change that fork out on that bike, but we'll see if the funds allow that. But I do have a SRAM mullet Axis group set ready to go on there. Just trying to decide if I want to put that on for the indoor trainer season or wait till conditions get a little bit better after winter. Yeah, so started out last year building the new bike. Also, we bought a tandem. New acquisition for the Back of the Gravel Pack team. We found our tandem. Bought a Fandango gravel tandem, mountain bikey gravel type tandem, and that kind of changed the course for us for a year. I think we entered 3 or 4 different events on that bike last year, and it turned out to be a real high point for the season for me, and I think for Cassie as well. So the addition of the tandem to the stable was a nice one, and I think it's gonna result in a lot of years of good times. As a couple getting out there together, being able to ride the same pace, enjoy the roads, enjoy the same thing. So it's not one of us telling stories to the other, or vice versa, but we're both out there experiencing it. So it's going to run down the events we did make it to in 2022. You may have noticed there wasn't a ton of travel in 2022. A lot of these events are pretty close to the Eastern Kansas region. The furthest one was probably Dirty South. We started out with Dirty South in Southern Illinois, event I go to almost every year. Familiar with the area, spent some time down there. I like to get down there when I can. One of my favorite courses every year, riding in the bluffs above Mississippi River and Big Money River in Shawnee National Forest. So I started out, as I do a lot of years, down in Dirty South. Went on to Mid-South, down in Stillwater. Followed that up with some smaller events, like I tend to prefer. Went to Rage Against the Chainring event. Was our first time riding an event on the tandem, which is something we hadn't done before. There's 3 or 4 events, maybe 5 in a series down there near Wichita. So I did a Rage event. Flint Hills Gravel Ride year 2. Went back to Flint Hills Gravel Ride. Bobby's got a lot to work with for a course, and it was a good time getting out there to Flint Hills. And then, of course, Open Range I go to again every year that I can if it works out for the schedule. This year I did the Tour again, which is the long course. I think it's a 200K course, but you have 2 days to do it. Kind of a bike packing if you'd like. There's a lodge you stay at type thing. You can camp or stay inside, so always a good one. Then followed up with a new one for us, Humphreys Gravel Grinder. We went to a short course again on the tandem, trying to get used to that, trying to get ready for some bigger events that were to come, and really close to us, I think within a couple hours or so. So I made it up to Humphreys this year. And then the big one, the target for us on the tandem anyway, was we did Unbound, did the 100 on the tandem. Had a muddy day out there, but if you haven't seen the video, take a look. It turned out pretty good, I think, and don't regret signing up for it this year. Solstice Gravel Grinder was next, another new event for me in southern Nebraska, just across the border from Kansas. It turned out to be like the hottest day of the year maybe, but you know, you kind of work with what you got. And that time of year, it's a little warm, of course, but I really enjoyed it. Also a good event, great organizer. Follow that up with Rock Ridge Dark Side. That was the first year of that event at Alma, if I remember right. We left out of Alma. That was, I don't know, 120 or so. Started in the evening, rode through the night into the next morning. That was probably my low point as far as what I've been on a bike that I can recall in recent history. Had some pretty rough times out there, especially early in the morning. You know, those events are a good mix of the good and the bad, and that one had some low points for me for sure. During the summertime, we do a lot of events that are a little more casual, not a lot of race, not a lot of, you know, pushing your pace kind of thing. And the next couple went to Gravel City Night Out, which was formerly known as Lunar. Another nighttime ride where you leave, I don't know, maybe 6 or so in the evening and ride out, and then you get back at like 9 or 10 in the evening, and rides out of Emporia, out of the Gravel City shop there, and really good time, all about fun, no worry whatsoever about pace or anything like that. So again, something I try and do every single year. And then also we helped out on a few rides, one of those being the Moonrise Bike Ride, which is the event that Ottawa Bike and Trail sponsors every year. Really fun event. We will have a video coming out here sometime this winter talking about that event. You know, can be a multi-day bike packing event. Head out to Pomona State Park, music, food. All that kind of thing. So I didn't ride it this year. I was out helping out, doing some support for it, but was able to get enough video. I think I can cobble something together for that, so stay tuned. And the next event as well, the other event in Ottawa is the Bad Astra. And this year I chose to do a support run, a sag stop, both on the 50 and the 100. Both courses came through there. Reporting from on location, the Popsicle Sag at the Bad Astra Gravel Race, Ottawa, Kansas. And it was actually a pretty enjoyable experience for me. Got to see a lot of folks out there. I was lucky enough to have some friends do a guest hosting of that, and so I was able to put a video together for that as well. So Bad Astra is a nice event and a really nice time of year, to be honest, to be riding a bike in eastern Kansas. And then finished out the year in Maple Leaf, which is up in Baldwin City. Again, staying pretty local. Small event, really nice place to ride, and also a really nice time of year to be riding a bike up there. The trees are changing. They have their Maple Leaf Fall Festival. So, you know, you get up there in a time of year you actually want to be on a bike and have fun. And so that one was a really enjoyable time for me, riding with friends the whole day, which doesn't always happen. You know how gravel events can be. You know, you start out the same pace, doesn't always last that way. Some guys are faster, slower, you know, so that was nice just to be able to ride together for the whole day. And yeah, kind of a different experience. So hindsight, trying to think about high points and low points from the 2022 season. Low point, as I mentioned, probably Rock Ridge Dark Side, about 10 a.m. Still a fair amount of ways to go. And like the 10th mile in a row of minimum maintenance. The sun was out, started getting hot, pushing my bike up some hills. Energy was running low. Water was running low. Yeah, definitely a type 2 kind of time for me out there. So that was probably my low point. High point? That's a good question. There are two that come to mind. Open range day one of the tour was terribly hot. Like well into the 90s, I think, and super, super windy. And it was a headwind almost the entire day. And the point I can remember as one of the high points of the season was when I found a cooler along the side of the road that you know, support SAG staff had put out there for us, you know, given the conditions. And at that point, I just made it through Alexander Ranch. I was in a pretty bad place as far as water. I had my orange mud pack on. I had multiple bottles. I drank more water in like a 5 mile period than I think anyone in the history of water drinking in the world. And I was in a pretty rough spot there as far as water. And also, just, mentally, physically, things weren't great. Wheels were starting to come off there a little bit. I have been dreaming about this possibility. God, thank goodness. Man, this is a lifesaver for me. Look at that. Never been so happy to see cold water. That's the kind of thing you remember, and yeah, it was definitely a kind of a high point for me finding that cooler. The second one was Unbound this year on the tandem. We were moving pretty good through the first half or so through the checkpoint, and then the rain started. And there was a stretch there of like a mile or two of minimum maintenance that was wet. It was muddy. It was pretty rough. And I guess the reason I would say it was a high point was to see how Cassie responded to that, because I wouldn't say I was loving life at that point. Trying to carry a tandem, push a tandem, trying to keep it upright. Actually, yeah, keeping it upright was what was most stressful for me in that section, because you have a lot of responsibility being the captain of a tandem, and I didn't want something to go wrong, with Cassie on the bike as well. So a little stressed, little lower in morale than I should have been, but Cass was loving it.
Almost 75 miles in. Oh my goodness. That was rough. Lots of mud, lots of walking, lots of hills, lots of water. Not ideal conditions today, but we're all suffering together, so that's something.
You're earning your first one.
That's right.
Oh,
Feeling good?
that makes one of us. She was the person, as we passed other people, that was always cheering them on and, trying to bring people up. And it worked for me too. And I have to say that was probably one of the high points of the year, is just to see how well she responded to adverse conditions out there. All in all, a good year this year. Had a lot of fun. Met a lot of folks out there. Appreciate the folks that come up and say hello when we're out there. And if you haven't done so, don't be bashful. I'm happy to chat with folks and learn a little bit about you and why you're there. Okay, so that brings us for plans for the winter, and a little bit probably going forward in addition to the winter. And one thing I want to give you a heads up for is one of the reasons I wasn't at as many events as I planned to be in late summer and fall this year is because we purchased a van, 2006 Sprinter, in spring of this year, and I've been spending a lot of time trying to get that thing ready to make the ultimate gravel travel van on a budget. So spent quite a bit of time getting that thing running reliably, trying to start to get it outfitted out into something that's going to be useful, so that when I'm traveling to local events surrounding states, it's something we can just hop in, throw the tandem in, throw our bikes in, throw some gear and hit the road. Stay in it on the way, stay in it when we're there, place to change, place to clean up, that kind of thing. The issue is, though, if you look at these camper vans these days, you can spend $200,000 pretty easily on a camper van, which blows my mind. That's more than we've spent on our house. I just don't understand how people have the money to spend on something like that. So we're on the opposite end of that spectrum as far as what we're going to be doing for this van. When I say a budget, the van we started out with was an old heating and air van, 2006. It cost us about 10 grand to start with. And so, that's the kind of project we're looking at, is doing things ourselves. I have zero experience with any of the skills really that are involved in this process. So going to spend some time this winter working through that project. I've been trying to record when I can as I go through. So just a heads up, there'll be a bit of a change. We're going to continue, of course, with event videos, gravel videos, but you will see some content coming as the construction of that gravel van comes along. And that'll start this winter. And I'm really looking forward to the adventure. It's a great learning experience. Learn a lot about carpentry, plumbing, electrical, you know, you name it, it's somewhere in that van. And hopefully it comes together. We're, you know, good 6 months into that project, so I can start to see a lot of progress as of late. Going to be taking a trip tomorrow morning. We're leaving for the East Coast for the holidays, taking the van, sleeping in the van. Going to get some stuff out east. I've got a roof rack that we're going to be getting on when we're out in Pennsylvania. So you're really looking forward to that. I hope you are too. I hope you enjoy the videos. Let me know what you think as we start getting rolling here on the budget gravel van videos that will be coming up in the coming months. Other things this winter, like I said, I do have still some event footage. Going to be putting together some event footage that hasn't been out so far this year. And then also going to be making some changes to my bike, potentially building up another bike. So we, of course, are going to have same kind of, you know, gravel equipment footage, reviews, those types of things we normally do in the winter to keep things moving forward as we go into the next event season in 2023. Finally, and to be honest, one of the bigger reasons I wanted to do a video now, even though I couldn't get out on the bike today, as I look outside and the snow is just dumping. This is the middle of a polar plunge? No, that's like swimming. Polar vortex. We got some polar activity going on outside right now. You know, and for whatever reason, that's the time of the year I start to really think about 2023. I think it's because like you can't get out on your bike if you want to. There's that period in early winter, well, you can if you want to. The conditions aren't great, and I actually usually don't ride that much. But then once you can, it's like, boy, I really want to ride my bike. And that's where I'm at right now. So I'm thinking a lot about 2023 and the kind of events, where we want to travel to, what we want to sign up for. And one of the goals I'd like to accomplish this year, hopefully our van will be in a position to take it out there, but it's to do a little more travel outside of Kansas and outside of our immediate vicinity. The last few years, of course, with COVID shut down, and then last year as well, I didn't travel a ton to events, and I'd like to get out there a little bit more. So looking at events, you know, I don't want to drive to California and Florida, but, you know, trying to get out there to I've enjoyed just about every event I've done in an Intermountain West state. So Colorado, like to get up into Wyoming or Montana if we can. New Mexico again, had a lot of fun a couple years back in New Mexico. And then also east as well. I know there's some great events up in Michigan, you know, in the Great Lakes region. I don't know that I've done an event in Iowa. So what I could use some input on from you is to comment below on where you think we should end up in 2023. The Back of the Gravel Pack would like to get out on the road. We'd like to try some new events we haven't been to before. And so I'd like to hear your input on where those events are that we should make it to. Trying to do some with the tandem, going to sign up for at least a few with the tandem, probably do some on my own, both of us on our own. Looking for new events, like I said, the kind of things we typically enjoy, smaller events where you get a chance to meet folks, you know, hear about them, hear about their day, see a new area. Of course, I'm always a big fan of events that raise money for charity. So if you have any thoughts, let us know. I will say we have signed up for a few events this year already and really looking forward to it. Looking forward to getting back out on the tandem, looking forward to getting back out on our own bikes and enjoying the year. So yeah, more to come in 2023, hopefully bigger and better. Have some plans in the works for some merch, maybe some jerseys down the road. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for some of those things. If you don't already, appreciate it if you would follow us on social media, Back of the Gravel Pack, pretty much anywhere you normally look for that kind of thing. Look us up, give us a follow. It's a better avenue if you have a lot of input, any input, some input, just input overall. Kind of see where we're at, a little more real time, where we're headed. And my golden retriever, who just came in from outside, Murphy, come here, say hello. Come here. See if we can get old Knucklehead. Come here. Here. Come here. Come here. Oh! All right, Murph. Say hello. There we go. There we go. On behalf of Murphy and I and the rest of the Back of the Gravel Pack team, hope you guys have a good holiday. Appreciate you tuning in. And yeah, be looking for the budget gravel van videos coming soon. We'll see you next time.